This episode on the Mesh.tv is sponsored by The Sock Factory, making quality socks in North Carolina since 1975. Producers of Crazy Compression, William Tucker, and FitSock, The Sock Factory has something for everyone. Find out more at thesockfactory.com.
What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Let's take our time tonight, girl. Above us, all the stars are watching. There's no place I'd rather be in this world. Your eyes are where I'm lost in. Underneath the chandelier, we're dancing all alone. There's no reason to hide what we're feeling inside right now. So baby, let's just turn down the lights and close the door. Ooh, I love that dress, but you won't need it anymore. You won't need it no more. Let's just kiss till we're naked, baby. Versace on the floor.
Woo! Welcome to episode 9, volume 7 of the Fantasy Formula. Hot off a 3-1 week for me and 1-0 week for Hank. And a fabulous Bruno Mars concert on Thursday. Hank, we're live coming at him Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. You had your coffee yet this morning?
I'm feeling pretty good, although you said I looked awful this morning.
Well,
I will tell you it got a little awkward with that music right now. I don't know if it was your singing or the way that you just stared at me while you were singing, but it was gross. Don't do that again.
Oh, Hank, I'm sorry about that. But you know, when that Bruno Mars Versace on the floor comes on, it doesn't matter really who's in the room. I'm just going to stare at them with those eyes, you know? Ugh, it's very scary. So, buddy, talk to me a little bit about our fantasy weekend, and then we're going to talk a little bit about a great concert that I went to last week.
My fantasy weekend went pretty well. You know, I started off my fantasy year with a loss, which is no way to start it out. You start eyeing your team, thinking this great team that you have is going to do something, and they blow it. But I wasn't going to let it happen this week. Mm-hmm. I had one of my arch nemesis against me this week.
Yes.
And I refuse to lose to this cat. You got me?
Absolutely.
And I went back and I looked. Head to head, we're 9-9.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was
a robbery.
There was actually something at stake here to pull ahead, right? So when we walked into the weekend, I wanted to let LT know I'm not scared to put it on the line. I want to let him know we're 9-9.
Yes.
All right? So this is for the bragging rights, right? I beat him by 1.5 points.
I saw the score, Hank. Now, please tell me it came down to like Monday night at the very last play or something.
He had Ty Montgomery,
yes,
who scored like 25
that
points.
That was Sunday night. Yep.
I had Devonta Freeman. Those were our last two. It didn't come down to Monday.
It came down to Sunday night. Even.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So
too.
I was up by like 8 going in.
Yes.
Pulled it out. When Ty Montgomery scored that first, or Devonta Freeman scored that first time,
touchdown, yeah.
I was like, getting good,
Mm-hmm.
getting good. Then Montgomery comes back and scores. Don't really like that situation, but it's okay.
Yes.
Devonta scores again. Montgomery scores again. And I'm like, I'm going to, chew my fingers down.
Sure.
But, cream rises to the top.
That's it, buddy. That's what they say. Congratulations on your
Appreciate
1 point victory over the
1.5. Let's get it.
1.5 point victory over Lawrence Thompson, the ex-commissioner of our league. I was also had a very good weekend, Hank. 3-1. Continue to my hot play in my High Point League and also my Hickory League that I am with you. I put up 152, some crazy number.
I hope that ends.
It won't. This team is hitting on all cylinders. We will continue to keep this train running throughout the season. I'm predicting a perfect season like Miami Dolphins 1972 team. That's what I'm predicting.
Wow.
At this moment, yes, we might go undefeated this year.
Wow.
Okay, Hank. let's take a little break from fantasy, although we do have a lot to talk about injury-wise, waiver wire wonders, all that good stuff. I went to the Bruno Mars concert on Thursday, okay?
So jealous.
Let's take our time tonight, girl.
Not jealous of that.
So we get there at a 3 o'clock-ish. We're in Charlotte.
Okay.
Cruise up, get our hotel room. Hotel room is the Aloft, right up
Been
there
there
near the
several
epicenter.
times.
Yeah, good place. Very small rooms, though. Have you noticed they're very small rooms? You got a bed, you got a TV, and you've got a shower, all put in together in the size of less than half this studio.
How long were you in that room, bud?
Probably about 3 hours.
Okay.
So that's all that matters.
Listen,
yeah.
and I'm not you. Many attributes, but you're not tall.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, true.
So size of room is
Really, it really should matter, but
You
you're
could-
good point.
Okay.
Very good point.
Dog bed in a closet may work out, but go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And it was decorated very nicely, though.
See?
It's very beautiful. Had pool
It better
tables
be.
downstairs. Yeah, no, good. And a bar in the lobby. Anyway, real cool spot. So we get there, have a drink or two, cruise up to this restaurant called Fahrenheit
Yeah.
51,
At
maybe?
the top bar.
At the top.
Yeah.
You know, overlooking the Queen City. It was gorgeous, beautiful scenery, beautiful people. The air conditioning wasn't working in there, and there was about 90 damn degrees, and I'm dressed up in this Bruno Mars real heavy wool jacket.
It was signature Bruno Mars.
No, it's kind of my own take on Bruno Mars'
Okay.
outfit. So it's kind of like a denim jacket with real wool, big collar. You know what I'm feeling here? And so I'm walking up the streets of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's about 92 degrees. And, you know, I'm just sweating
Looking like a
profusely.
Civil War soldier.
Exactly. And Jennifer's like, just take it off. Take that jacket off. I was like, nah, dude. I'm rocking this thing. It's going to, air conditioner will be in the restaurant. I'll look cool. It'll be fine. We get up there. The hostess was like, hey, thanks for coming. Just want to let you know our air conditioner's out. Oh, God almighty. So
I need
anyway.
to check my coat.
Exactly. So we go, our jacket's still on. We eat our dinner. Go out, take some great pictures of the skyline and all that good stuff. And
I
then,
saw some of those.
Yeah.
Very beautiful
Oh,
people.
it's very gorgeous people I was with, and throughout the whole concert, just beautiful people. So we leave. The concert starts at 8, but there's an opening performer. She is one of the Fifth Harmony gals, so we didn't get there for her, but I'm sure she put on a great show. Show's supposed to start at 9. Well, 9. We get there at 8:45. 9 comes. 9:15 comes. 9:30. Still no show. I'm like, let's get this thing on the road, Bruno.
now.
We're ready. I forgot to tell you this, Hank. So we bought our tickets a long time ago, and I was warned, hey, we might be kind of far up. I was like, it doesn't matter. There ain't going to be a bad spot in the Spectrum Center. I think
No.
that's what it's called. But when she said we might have some bad seats, literally, my back was to the wall in the last row, and to the right of me is the corner. So I'm a wall on my right, wall on my back. The furthest dude from Bruno Mars in the entire Coliseum. That is me. In
That
the
hinders your
corner.
dancing, too.
Well, the cool thing is there's nobody behind me to mess around, so I've got all the space I want to do to kind of.
So you ought to see what he's doing in here. You ought to see what he's doing in here.
Watch this. Look at that. Look, watch me go. So I was doing a lot of the worm and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm the furthest from Bruno Mars in the entire Coliseum. Didn't hinder me a bit. So show starts 9:35. I cannot remember the opening number. I thought it would be Treasure, dun, 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 but it wasn't. Treasure came the third song.
Okay.
All right. But the
That's what I like. That's a great
that
song.
that was maybe second or 4.
Okay.
You know, we got that one going. He saved some of the slow ones for the middle of the concert. Maybe
yeah.
you know, Just the Way You Are,
Hey,
and then
Girl.
that real slow one with the piano. That you know that one. I'm gonna have to play it. You have your look up the Bruno Mars. It's the piano one. You know, and he's like taking you dance. You know that
that
one.
isn't a song
Yes.
in his repertoire.
I'm
but
gonna find it.
How about Perm? That's one of
Perm played. Perm was there. Yes,
Perm,
was
Big Perm.
Big Perm played around song 10, and
Hey,
keep going.
keep with the story here.
I know,
Stay
I'm
with
sorry,
us.
I'm
Stay
sorry,
with
I'm
us.
trying
stay-
to find this song. So
Hey, So it was incredible. Like it was one hit after the other.
one hit after the other, and for the encore, it was the Mark Ronson. You know what is that one?
Yeah.
You know, bum, bum 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 bum.
But from what I understand, I talked to a lot of people that had. So I was kind of disappointed. I didn't get tickets to it because my little boy, as you know, loves him.
Yeah, big Bruno fan.
Loves him. And Oh,
This
yeah.
is that one.
Yeah.
While you're talking, we'll let it play in the background. Go ahead.
Big, huge Bruno fan. So I went on to look at tickets for Raleigh. Astronomical, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, talking like mortgage
Yes.
territory.
We heard there were some people that we knew that were down on the floor, front row to fifth row, $1,200 a ticket.
I was
buddy.
getting ready to say,
$1,200 a ticket.
You know,
Crazy.
rear view. You know what rear view means when it's on your ticket?
What's that mean?
It's not a good thing. That means you're behind the stage.
Oh, good Lord.
Looking like at a corner.
Gotcha.
You might get his foot in there. You know, if he kicks it out, you might get a foot in there.
Right?
$280.
What?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But the Cat put on a phenomenal show. My mom and her friends were actually one kind of aisle over from us, so I could see my mom boogie in, having a big
Nice.
time with her girlfriends. We were
Nice.
doing our thing up top. And so the show ends, we pop out of the Coliseum. I'm kind of looking, I've got my Bruno Mars woolly jacket on. I'm dancing around. Well, Andy Roney, the guy that we were with, starts telling people, hey, y'all, make way. This is Bruno's cousin. Make way. And so I'm walking, and people are like looking around, and they're looking at me a little bit. So we pop into a little dance place because, we like to dance.
Yeah.
And Andy kept saying the same stuff. Hey, yo, clear it out. Bruno Mars' cousin's coming through. So I went straight to the dance floor, did a little jig or two, how I like to do it.
Yeah. You keep the shirt on?
Shirt stayed on. Jacket was even on at this time,
Oh,
too. So now it's
gross.
108 degrees. But I signed 2 autographs. as Bruno Mars' cousin. What I did is just wrote a big C and then a little scribble. 2 autographs.
Did you
Bruno Mars'
Seymour? Seymour's?
It might have been C. Mars. At this time,
Bruno
I probably
Mars?
couldn't even.
What are we doing with that?
I love that. I couldn't even spell probably at this time because it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. But I did sign 2 autographs. We looked the part. The whole crew I was with we just had a phenomenal time. Bruno, thank you for a great evening.
Hey, maybe we can get him in the studio one day.
Yes, I think I've got his number on a speed dial.
You're his cousin, for goodness sake.
We'll get him in here very soon. So that started the weekend off. Also went to a birthday party for some of our dear friends, Megan Young, Scott and Courtney Yunt. We went
Nice.
to a cool restaurant in Hickory, had a ball, treated us like royalty. And then Saturday, bunch of soccer. And another birthday party. 2 adult birthday parties. 2 adult birthday parties in one weekend. Plus the Bruno on Thursday. So, buddy, it was quite the weekend.
I tell you, you look kind of like a grape right now because you're getting a little, all that alcohol and
There it
everything is
is.
getting sucked
Sucked
back out
in.
of you.
Yeah.
I had quite for all the excitement you had,
Mm-hmm.
I had the exact opposite. So it was very quiet because I've had weekend.
Sure.
And, it's nice to have those weekends that you go. And we had our first flag football game.
Oh, let me hear about this.
Yeah, well, see, we love sports. All of us love sports and everything. Football, we love watching. My boy didn't want to play tackle. He saw a football game last year with the little guys, and somebody got crunched. He was like, "It ain't
That
gonna
ain't
be
me, Daddy."
So we had flag football, and last year, he's a little guy. So this year, he's one of the older ones. So they put him in a better role,
Yeah.
right? And so there's like 3 or 4 kids that are older, and they're giving them the opportunity to play quarterback and receiver and running back and everything. But you know, the thing about football is it's still the same game regardless of what you play. And if you're going to run your offense, what's the most important part that you think that you would need to get your offense off the ground? Just besides a good quarterback,
Offensive line. I think you need a good offensive line.
you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
You got to have good blocking.
Gotta have
right?
that.
So Harris goes in the first series, and he was going to be quarterback, and he's feeling a little good about himself. Like,
He's starting quarterback.
quarterback. So he thought he was feeling pretty good about himself. So he pulls up, down, set, but he steps 1 foot back, flags pulled, right?
Yes.
No blocking. No blocking.
Love it.
3, the whole series. He doesn't even get to do anything, right?
Yeah.
Comes off. He was like, they're all over me. Like, at the end of the game, the 3 kids that were playing quarterback or that, were swapping in and out, they were like, I want to play running back. I want to play wide receiver. They did not want to play quarterback.
That's great.
They weren't getting any love. So it was it was good. And that's good about sports is like it's good to be on team. We got beat like 42-0. Okay. It's good to be on teams that struggle.
Yes. Ooh, that's 42-0. That's a struggle.
Yeah, no, I think it creates character.
It does.
I think it's good. And they walked off that field, and Harris goes, "You see number 1? That cat's fast." I was like, that cat smoked you for about 20 points. So it was fun. I spent a lot of time in the yard. We went to hit. on Sunday. We had a good time, but it was a lot of fun. We saw my buddy Chase. Your friend Chase.
I heard he was in town for the tennis extravaganza.
Yeah, he brought his team Gwinnett in to play Lenore Ryan, and Lenore Ryan did a great job, but that's a different caliber of tennis. He was telling me about their record last year. They have 7 national championships. His guys are 4 of it. The women are 3. And he was
in a row.
He was telling me, I was like, so how does this, to the nation, how does this hold up? And he said, well, last year, I can't remember who he said, but the team that won the Division II national championship, who's LR's division, they beat them because they're like South Georgia State or something like that. He was like, they played them and beat them. And I was like, okay, so you, in my eyes, you would have had a shot at winning the national championship in Division II. Then he said, University of Georgia, UGA, came in runner-up in the NCAA final. They beat them last year.
What? Holy cow.
So you think about it, on a national level, they would have been at least in the top few.
Sure.
And it was amazing to watch those kids play because they could have. He said, a lot of these kids could go anywhere, and they come to the small Gwinnett County, and good for him.
Why is that? What is the draw?
Well, I think I think the 7 national championships
that brings them in
make something. I think getting a history with these, because everybody on this team's foreign. They're
international from all over the place, right?
Right, and you have one kid from Argentina that's had a good experience that plays top level tennis and is leaving there and is going pro. I think he said he had 8 kids that are now on tour, or 4 to 8 kids that are on tour now.
Unbelievable.
So it's that kind of record that they're like, I don't care. It's kind of like Long Beach State in baseball. It's kind of like Butler in basketball now. It's kind of like those obscure schools that are kind of taking it to another level. They kind of
build so that they're successful and they start building the reputation. More people start talking about them, but before you know it, the word is out, and everybody wants to play for you. They want to be a part of something special.
Right.
Yeah, so that's great, man. I hate I didn't get to see him, but
your brother, I saw your brother there.
He came out? Cool.
He came out, and, it's Chase's Chase. I love Chase.
Yeah.
He is built to be a head coach.
I can see it.
He had he looked the part.
Yes.
He was barking orders. He was talking for it. It was great seeing him, and it was good.
Well, good, man. I hate I miss him, but I'm glad he's tasted so much success at his university or his college there. Hank, talking about success, let's talk about this fantasy football. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Hank, it's another Bruno. Look at me.
Look at him. Yeah, you would not believe how much dancing this little man can do in a chair.
Okay. There we go. Okay, Hank, so 3-1 last week, 1-0 for you. And where we'll start this week, buddy, is we've got a pretty interesting matchup on a Thursday night. Actually, it's not a very interesting matchup. It is a damn dog show. LA Rams versus San Francisco 49ers.
What are you talking about?
Both these teams kind of really stink. I will do a quick prediction fantasy-wise. Even though the LA Rams supposedly got this great defense, they did not show it last week. San Francisco's Carlos Hyde is having a great year. Do you have Carlos Hyde?
I do not.
Okay. Carlos Hyde is having a phenomenal year. Top 5 fantasy running back so far this year. Watch this fellow run roughshod against this LA Rams offense. Right now, Vegas has total 40 over under. LA Rams a 2.5-point favorite.
LA Rams 2.5 favorite. I mean, we talked about those Rams and how you could not depend on them.
Yes.
But Gurley,
he's having
a pretty good year.
Good
Last
year so
week
far.
it was 88 yards and a touchdown. Goff had 1 touchdown, 224 yards. Also had an interception. I mean, I'm not saying that I like them, but they're by far exceeding their expectations.
They are.
And if you look at the quarterback play in San Francisco, so to be completely honest, I got to tell you, I kind of like L.A. in this contest.
L.A., huh? I like L.A. too, Hank, minus the 2.5. Let's take them against the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday night. Tell me if I made a boo-boo here. So Jared Goff was sitting on my waiver wire last week. Jared Goff coming off the 300-yard game in week 1, played great. And I had Dak Prescott as my other quarterback. I benched Dak, put Jared Goff in thinking, and who did they play last week? They played the Redskins at home thinking that Goff would light it up. Goff kind of rescinded back a little bit to the way he played last year. not a very good performance. 15 for 25, 224, and a touchdown with 1 pick. But would you feel safe moving forward with Jared Goff starting against a San Francisco defense who's a top 5 worst in the league?
I would at this point. I mean, if that was your only option, I mean, many of us have good quarterbacks, but, you're starting to see people second guess the quarterback that they had.
Certainly.
I'm one of them.
Eli and who are the
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, yes.
Neither one of those guys is having a season that's worth a darn.
Right.
Now, they probably will in week 3 if I decide to bench him. But it is getting to the point now where I'm like, do I have to make a move? Because, Russell Wilson is 14 points, 16 points.
I'm so glad you brought this up, and we can talk a little bit about more about Russell when his game comes up. But listen to this, Hank. I heard this stat today about Russell Wilson because a lot of people are in the same boat as you. What the hell is going on with Russell Wilson? What am I going to do? Am I going to bench him? I drafted him top 5 rounds. He's my starting quarterback. Yeah. I need him. In this last game, he had 2 touchdowns dropped. So think about what his numbers fantasy-wise. If one of them was a bomb, like a 35 to 40-yard bomb, another one was a touchdown short pass to C.J. Prosise, but add that 40-yard bomb plus 2 more touchdowns, hey, we're talking Russell Wilson's cool. Yeah, he's my man. Just remember, it's not you can't always just look at that final stat line. Some things may have happened during the game, so don't give up on Russell yet. Do not give up on Russell yet.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I hope that inspired you. Next up, we've got a 1 o'clock kick. The Baltimore Ravens versus these Jacksonville Jaguars. Baltimore, a hot team right now. Their defense top 3 in every category. They are 2-0. Jacksonville coming off that loss last week. They play, I think they got worked. Hank.
Tennessee, 37-16.
37-16 at home. Jacksonville stays at home for this contest against Baltimore. Vegas has the number. Baltimore minus the 4, total 39.5.
I can't even believe I'm going to say I like Jacksonville, but I think that they are going to make this competitive. I still think Baltimore comes out. Baltimore's still running 45 guys. They haven't found their identity. They don't know what they're really doing, but their defense is going to keep them in it because, they kept the Browns to 10 points, which isn't stellar, but I'm going to go with Baltimore on this.
I like Baltimore minus the 4 too. Jacksonville, if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, you probably drafted Leonard Fournette. I got a little bit of Leonard Fournette in my one of my leagues. I'm tempted to bench this dude because of the heralded Baltimore defensive front.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how it plays out. But Fournette, guys, if you've got him, just think about before you start him. Maybe you put him as a flex instead of your RB1. Let's see what happens. But this Buck Allen for the Ravens, who you had last year, is kind of taking Woodhead's place, coming out of the backfield, rushing some, catching mad balls out of the backfield. I don't think he's available on many waiver wires, but if he is, pick him up, start him against a Jacksonville Jaguars defense who's okay, but not really good against the receiver coming out of the backfield. We both like Baltimore, and I'm going to lean under as well.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Hank, we have got...
Worst game ever.
Oh, my gosh. When you say worst game ever, you are not kidding. A 1 o'clock kick, Cleveland at Indianapolis. Vegas has a number. Cleveland opened as a 1 point favorite. Now it's a pick 'em is what I see.
Andrew Luck won't even watch this game.
Absolutely. And speaking of Luck, if you drafted Luck, this is week 3. He's not playing again. Do you hold on tight? I mean, are you riding this thing out, or are you just going to say, man, the Colts suck so bad, even if he's healthy, they might not play him anyway? How do you feel about this?
I'm with you. I don't know if he's going to be much help to that team. And to be completely honest, if I were the owner and the head coach, I'd really consider not bringing him in. If he's going to miss half the games, let's scrap this season. Let's get you back for next year, and let's start all over because there's not a hole. There's multiple holes.
Yeah. And without Andrew Luck, that lessens the value of your T.Y. Hilton. I don't know if you've got their stats. See what T.Y. did last week. Probably nothing. Dante Moncrief's doing nothing. Frank Gore did have a touchdown last week. But what you got for T.Y.?
46 yards for Frank Gore and a touchdown. And then Doyle had 79 yards receiving. Hilton had 49 yards receiving. It's kind of like...
Without Luck, dude, these receivers are do.
And Brissett was 216 with an interception.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't go out there and
shock the world.
He didn't do anything spatial.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, T.Y. Hilton owners, I'm sorry. You probably drafted him late second, early third, maybe even before then. I don't think you can start him without Andrew Luck on the field, so y'all take that into consideration. Cleveland, on the other hand, you had Kaiser, the rookie quarterback.
He threw 3 interceptions.
Threw 3 picks. He also went out of the game in the first half with a migraine, said he couldn't see very well, comes in the second half, throws 3 picks. If you got a migraine, you can't see very well. Why are the coaches putting you back in the game in the second half?
Listen, the guy comes to me and says, I got a migraine, my hip hurts. Even if he says, I can't, my shoulders feel a little bit bad on that. I can't see.
I can't see.
No.
Put him in the game.
Do you know how fast moving this game is? And they're going to put a blind man in there? That tells you that Colin Kaepernick has, that's blowing up.
Yes.
That is blowing up. But, this guy can't see and he's got an NFL job. It's ridiculous.
It's like Stevie Wonder out there. What the hell's going on out here? No New Year's Day.
Don't. We've
to
had enough.
Celebrate.
You've hit your singing limit.
All right, so what we're going to take in this Las Vegas lovely showdown, Cleveland, Indianapolis will pick them.
I almost refuse to bet this game because I don't want people to think that I'd actually check the box score. But I think the Browns have a better shot than the Colts.
Me too, Hank. 3 for 3. We're on the same team. All right, next game, Pittsburgh, 1:00 kick at Chicago. The Chicago Bears have already heard some rustling about a Trubisky sighting taking over for Glennon. But in my opinion, this humble man's opinion, I don't think Glennon is really at fault here. The Bears receivers dropped 6 balls, 2 which could have been touchdowns last week. Another interception that Glennon threw bounced off a dude's shoulder pad and bounced into the defender's hands. So it's not all about Glennon. I think the whole Chicago Bears team sucks. Jordan Howard, you drafted him round 1. Give me his stat line from last week.
Still processing.
Thank you. There's sweat beating up on Hank's brow.
I got to tell you, there's a lot of pressure being the stat guy here. Especially, we might need to negotiate quicker Wi-Fi. Maybe have the mesh system put in here because yes. I get kind of sweaty palms when I start to do this. So Howard, when would he go? 10th, 11th?
Yes,
maybe?
First round, early
10th,
second.
11th. Rushing, Howard had 9 carries for 7 yards. Do you know what I would do to my TV if I had that guy on my team? I would punch. He wasn't even the leading rusher. The leading rusher had 13 yards. But Glennon had 300 yards passing, a TD, 2 interceptions. It's not like he's terrible, especially if he gets those guys.
Exactly.
Those balls.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying, Hank. For the Bears, last week's waiver wire wonder was that Tariq Cohen. See if you've got his numbers, Hank. He was the rookie from North Carolina Central or North Carolina A&T. It looks like he's almost not taking Jordan Howard's spot, but it seems like he gets more run. I think he's in on more of the carries and the targets than Howard is right now. He
had the most targets as a receiver with 8, and he had 55 yards, and then he carried the ball 7 times opposed to Howard's 9. Wow. So, but he only had 13 yards. That's and one of his carries was 9 yards. That's gross.
That's not good. That's not good.
That's not good.
Yeah, so what do we like in this game? Pittsburgh's laying 7.5 on the road, total 45.
Well, I think Le'Veon's starting to come to life. It's kind of hard to deny that team. So Pittsburgh, I'm going with Pittsburgh on this one.
Hank, you called it perfectly because Le'Veon, now this is week 3. He's been a little slow, just kind of getting back involved into the offense. Look for him to explode against this Bears defense. Check him out. I want to say running back 1 this week, 100 yards rushing, 75 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. You heard it here, Hank.
I heard it here. I did hear it here.
Pittsburgh minus the 7.5. Next up on the agenda, my friend, we've got the Miami Dolphins at the lowly New York Jets. 1:00 kick. Vegas has the number opened up at -6 for the Dolphins. Now it's bet down to 5.5. Total 41.5. Jets 0-2. Miami coming off a surprise win on the road last week. 1-0.
Beat the Chargers.
Yes, they did.
19-17. And wasn't it a field goal? Like a missed field goal?
Yes, Chargers had a chance to win the game at the end and missed field goal at the end.
So, it's kind of good for Miami to get that monkey off their back, that first win, especially because they were delayed the start of their season because of the hurricane. The Jets are just terrible. Although they scored 20 points against Oakland, they're just awful. Jay Ajayi, though, is kind of like the diamond in the rough over there in Miami. He had 122 yards, which... pretty impressive. Very few running backs had that kind of performance. And passing, Cutler did 230 and a touchdown.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit better than others. Landry had one throw, no catch, though.
Give me some receiving numbers for. I'm just interested about the Devontae Parker and Landry kind of split fantasy-wise. Who's getting the targets? Who's getting the yards? Give me what you got there.
It's a great comparison for receivers for PPR and not PPR.
Yes.
So Parker, 4 receptions, 85 yards.
Okay.
Landry, 13 catches.
Wow.
78 yards.
Wow.
Yeah.
PPR dream right there, Landry. Good job. And Parker, that's not bad numbers either, not
No.
bad at all. For the Jets, I did want to mention this one shining moment, if you will, for the Jets, or one diamond in the rough. Jermaine Kearse, the receiver who came over from the Seahawks in a trade, 2 touchdowns.
64 yards.
64 yards. So he's really the only guy on that offense that can catch a ball. But I'm not going to start the cat, but he's on waiver wires everywhere. If you need, maybe when the buys come in, you need a flex play, could be somebody just to look out for. We're going to take Miami minus the 5.5 at the Jets.
Oh, that was an awful game, too. I mean,
dude,
the last 2.
Let's talk about this if we just have 30 seconds. Are you disappointed so far in the NFL football season?
Yes.
It has been a drag. Like, I'm comparing it to college football. College football, I've been so excited. The games are exciting. All kinds of upsets, all kinds of wonderful things happen. And then on Sunday, you look forward to the NFL slate, and you're like, dude, when are we going to see something that's good? It's not good. Hank.
No, it's not good.
And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better in week 3. Here's the next one. This is a little bit better. Well, not really, because Buffalo sucks. Denver at Buffalo.
Buffalo, I mean, the whole idea of that game that the Bills had with the Panthers was I didn't get to watch much football on Sunday.
Dude, you didn't miss a damn thing. That game sucked.
I walked in every once in a while, and I saw field goal, terrible offense,
Punt.
terrible offense. The only good thing is defense was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Defense was pretty good. But the Bills are awful, and I don't see how you can even begin to bet on them to score anything. Whereas, Denver scored, they put up like 42 points.
Yeah, their offense
against
looked
the
great.
Cowboys. Cowboys don't have great defense, but how can you deny the Broncos this game?
Especially, Buffalo played a great defense in Carolina. Carolina top 5 defense this year. They're playing wonderfully. Yeah. Denver, they're top 5 defense too. Yeah. Buffalo is going to run into the same thing they did in Carolina. They are playing at home, which might help them a little bit. Denver laying just 3. Ooh, this one sounds too damn good to be true. It probably is. But I'm biting, baby. I'm biting. I'm going Denver minus the 3. Question fantasy-wise, Trevor Siemian, I know you've got his numbers there. I want to say he had 4 touchdown game. Tell me, what do you have?
4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 231. He kind of spread the ball around a bunch because Thomas only had 71. C.J. Anderson, though, it helps. You can throw the ball when your running back goes for 118.
Oh, wow. What a game for C.J. Anderson. He's starting out great this year. Trevor Siemian on everybody's waiver wire, at least on our fantasy football sites that we mess with. Do you pick him up this week? I mean, let's say you have a Dak. You got Dak, but you got Siemian going up against a Buffalo's defense, and Dak's going up against who's Dallas playing? Arizona Monday night. What do you do?
I think anybody against that, against
that
Buffalo. Yeah. I mean, and Siemian's played well.
Yes, he has.
So, I mean, I got to be.
Alex Smith, Trevor Siemian, who would you rather have as your QB2? Your backup,
Alex Smith, right now.
Alex, do you know he's the number 1 fantasy quarterback in the league right now?
Really,
Alex Smith.
He's number 5 as far as passing yards.
Yeah, well, if you add all the touchdowns and his rushings, he's number 1. But anyway, it's interesting to see. Well, let's see how this Denver team goes as they move on. They're 2-0 right now. Let's see if they can continue it. But we do like Denver minus the 3. And if you had a lean over under 40.5, Hank, what would you say?
40.5. Well, oh man, can Buffalo score? Can they score? Not against. I'd say under.
I like
because
under too.
The defense for Denver is going to be so strong.
24/7.
I don't think they're going to do it.
24/7. I like the under too. All right, buddy. Next up, 1:00 kick. Houston at New England. Houston railing 0-2, but supposedly they're supposed to have a top 5 defense. We haven't seen it yet.
No.
The New England Patriots get back to reality with Brady's performance. I think it was 4 touchdowns and maybe 400-plus yards, if I'm not mistaken. He is the oldest quarterback at 40, whatever he is, to throw over 400 yards. So a job
447.
For what?
447.
447 against a lowly Saints defense. Can Brady do it against a Houston defense that's supposed to be much better? Number 13 and opened up, been bet down a little bit, 12.5. The total's only 43.5, which seems odd to me. But maybe they're thinking Houston won't score. Maybe Houston just runs the ball to keep Brady off the field. What do you think about this contest?
Oh, man, see, when you start getting into that like middle double-digit territory, it's hard to even like reasonably think that they could hit that number. But the Saints' defense is terrible. Awful. They scored 36 points. 36 points. I think they're going to score 30 again.
I do too.
Can Houston score 10?
I say no.
Yeah.
Well, New England's defense kind of stinks too. So maybe you give them 14. Maybe you give Houston 14 and New England's 30. They're still covering the number.
Right.
You know?
That's a hard one. It's right on that number.
Yeah, I think so too. It's right at about 2 touchdowns. I'm going to lean New England just because they're playing at home. Brady, he's got something to prove at home. He always plays better there. And fantasy-wise, Gronk got a little groin injury. I think he's going to be okay.
Yep.
Chris Hogan, he got a little banged up.
Hey, brother.
Thank you. And Brandon Cooks, I'm worried about Brandon Cooks a little bit, Hank. Drafted, I spoke so highly of him. I was saying you can draft him in the first round if you want. So far, he and Brady don't have that kind of connection that we thought we'd see. What was Brandon Cooks' numbers last week?
2 receptions for 37 yards.
Could this be his coming out party against the Houston Texans?
Well, it's coming.
It's got to be coming.
It's coming because if it's not him, it's going to be Hollister or Dorsett or Hogan or it's each week it's somebody different. So why not this week? They went out and got him for a reason, but that dang team is ridiculous. They pick a superhero every week and just feed it. This week it was Tom Brady and Gronk.
Yes.
Let's
see who the superhero is on Sunday. Let's take New England. I'm going to take New England minus the 12.5. Hank's on the fence. You going to lean New England?
I'll lean New England, yeah.
10-4. Next up, 1 o'clock kick. New Orleans at Carolina, a huge division rivalry. We've been waiting on this game for a while, and it's coming to us in week 3. Drew Brees, the offense can score at will, but their defense can't shut down anyone. Carolina's defense, on the other hand, is phenomenal. Their offense so far has looked very poor, very poor. Carolina, a -6 favorite, total 48. Carolina get it done at home?
I don't think so. I don't think they haven't scored. They haven't proven that they can score 24 points or, done anything worth that. New Orleans is going to score.
They're going to. Yes.
And if they get that running game going, and the only benefit to Carolina is they've got a good defense, but like Ingram had 52 yards, Peterson had 26 yards, and there's that whole problem with Peterson yelling at Peyton.
Right.
But if they can get that running game going, it's just going to open up Breeze. Breeze had 356 and 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
He's going to have it again.
He does it every week.
Guys,
y'all have heard the bad news out of Carolina. Greg Olsen broke his foot out 6 to 8 weeks. Now, there's another tight end there. His name is Ed Dixon. I'm not going to say a perennial Pro Bowler by any means, but he's talented enough to fill the gap. If you need tight end this week, New Orleans defense stinks. If you need a tight end, let's say you have an Austin Hooper or somebody else that you're not really confident with.
Tyler Eifert.
Tyler, who's, what's going on with him? We'll get to him in a second. Is he hurt again by chance? I hope he's not hurt
Better
again.
not be.
So anyway, you need some tight end help. Dixon would be the guy you look for on the waiver wire. Grab him, drop him in. I'm guaranteeing you Cam's going to hit him for at least 5 receptions and let's say maybe about 65 yards. That number's not bad for a tight end. The play of the game here, I can't predict a winner or a loser. Hank likes New England. I would probably lean there too.
Orleans.
Thank you. But I would really like the over here. I'm thinking 48 gets blown out of the water. I'm seeing more like a 28-35 type of game, a shootout in Carolina.
So you're saying Carolina will score?
Against New Orleans defense, yes, they will. And I know New Orleans is going to score. So I'm saying over the total in a big, big way.
You're like a myriad of weird commentary right there. I think you went against what you said.
Well,
earlier.
okay. I said Carolina's defense is very good, but New Orleans can score at will.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying?
I got it.
I'm telling you, and also I'm going to give you another fantasy gem here. McCaffrey scores his first professional touchdown in this game, and I bet he gets 2.
I'd love to see it. I
bet he gets 2. So you draft or FanDuel or DraftKings guys that play the daily, put McCaffrey in your lineups. He is going to get you 2 touchdowns. Faux show. Next up, Tampa Bay at Minnesota. It's a 1 o'clock kick. For some reason, Vegas has this off the board. I want to say it's because of the Bradford injury. They don't know if he's going to play or not.
Right.
Sam Bradford is questionable in this game, so we don't have any lines really to even look at here, Hank. But Minnesota at home against Tampa Bay, who looked great last week. Talk about Tampa Bay real quick. Won last week against the Bears 29-7.
Jameis Winston, 204 with a touchdown. Rodgers, 67 yards in the touchdown.
Yeah.
Barber had 47 yards. The receiving, Evans, 93 with a touchdown. D. Jackson, 39.
Okay.
Everybody else is kind of under that.
Well, they really didn't have to do much offensively because the Bears only scored 7, so they probably shut it down maybe a little. Actually, I'm looking at the line, the second half score. No points in the third quarter and just 3 points in the fourth quarter, so they shut it down second half.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do anything.
Yep.
What can Tampa Bay do against this Minnesota D?
I think Tampa Bay is going to win this game.
I love Tampa Bay.
I do too. I think that the number will come back out pretty close.
Yep.
And I think that they blow it out.
Bradford or no Bradford, it doesn't matter. You like Tampa Bay?
Yep.
Okay, I dig it too. You see Dalvin Cook's numbers for Minnesota last week, Hank? Let's see if we can find that real quick.
I do. He has got 64 yards.
So he came back to earth a little bit after the sterling performance opening week. And receiving-wise, I saw Diggs and Thielen. Thielen actually might have got a little banged up. What do you see for the
Rudolph
receiving
had
numbers?
45. Thielen had 44. Diggs only had 27.
Yeah, they were actually a backup quarterback was throwing to him. I think it was Case Keenum. Yeah, so
167. Can't do much with that.
Yeah. You can't talk about a backup quarterback here on the fantasy formula. Next up, Atlanta at Detroit. Atlanta looks great. Detroit looks great. Did you see them whoop the Giants on the road?
I think my man got his money, and he wants to prove it.
You know what he looks like to me? Did you watch the game Monday night?
I did. A little bit of it, not a lot of it.
Dude, Stafford is running around in the pocket, making plays with his feet. Not back in the day, he'd throw 3 picks a game.
Sure
now
would.
he's so safe with that ball. He's not going to make a bad play. The dude reminds me almost like a little Brady. He is just not making bad decisions. This game, actually, I kind of like this game. Atlanta at Detroit. This might be the game of the week. 1 o'clock kick. Atlanta's a 3-point favorite on the road. The total's 49.5.
But Stafford only had 122 yards.
They rushed the ball a ton. I think Abdullah had 90 and Riddick had 40 or
86. Riddick had 20.
Yeah.
Stafford had 23.
Yeah.
But he threw 2 TDs, man.
Yes,
I mean, it's just those numbers. He's just deficient.
Efficient. That is the word, and that is what he's doing right now. Will this efficiency work against an Atlanta offense who is efficient and will score at will? What do you think about this game?
What's the line?
3, Atlanta.
I think Atlanta is just the more complete team. And so I think that their running game. Devonta Freeman's going to do it every week, until he hits a Denver or somebody like that. He's going to keep running on people. He's going to run all over Detroit. He had 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ryan, 252 and a touchdown. Jones receiving had 108.
Finally, Julio back in the fold.
They
Good.
just are more complete.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Yeah, I like it. You know what? I think this number's right at 3. I would probably lean to Atlanta too, but this is going to be a close game. The total at 49.5. Detroit is going to try to run, just like they did against the Giants to keep Matt Ryan and them off the field. I'm going to lean under just because of what Detroit Lions offense has been doing. Burn the clock, rush the ball, Stafford make good decisions, burn clock, burn. That's how I like. So I'm going to go under 49.5 and lean with you, Atlanta minus the 3. I think that's a smart play right there. Okay, 1 o'clock, New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles, Hank. 1 o'clock game. This is the last one on the schedule for the ones. Vegas has the number Philadelphia minus a 5, 43.5. To me, the Giants look like they don't even want to be out there anymore. They look pathetic at home on Monday. Philadelphia's offense looks like it's clicking. What happens here against the Giants, Philadelphia?
New York Eli had 239 with a touchdown, 1 interception. I mean, he didn't completely crap the bed. I mean, he's going to go out there and try to crack. He had no time.
That's what I'm saying. Their offensive line is terrible.
Oh.
He's just running for dear life out there.
He really is. And, Beckham had 36. Ingram had 49. I don't think that they can get to a point where they can make a play because of their line. So there's no way I can take New York.
Yep, I've noticed on a lot of waiver wires, Paul Perkins, who everyone drafted typically around 4 or 5, is starting to get dropped. I mean, they're not even – because they don't run the ball. The Giants do not run the ball.
How happy are the Eagles fans, though, that Wentz is there?
Gosh, man.
I mean, he did 333, 2 touchdowns and an interception. I mean, people have to be like, I mean, that's the question. Is like, if somebody like that is still out there, do you pick him up instead of
Dude,
Russell Wilson?
if he was on a waiver wire, I would pick him up in a second. Look and see how many rushing yards he had, too. The dude runs the ball.
55.
He had 55 rushing yards. Think about that as a fantasy quarterback. That's a top 5 fantasy quarterback right there.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. When it comes to Philadelphia Eagles running game, however, you know, LeGarrette Blount is on 2 of my teams. I think he had 0.5 fantasy points. He does
He's not
nothing.
even on here.
Yeah, exactly. He does nothing. So they have kind of morphed their offense into the Wentz show. He's throwing it or rushing it. So, yeah, if you can get Wentz, put him in your lineup. That dude is gold.
You know,
baby.
Sproles, they have Sproles, and he rushed for 48, and he caught 30.
Yeah.
He's just, steady Eddie.
Steady flex. Start him every week in flex.
Yep.
I love that dude. Let's go. I'm going to lean Philadelphia minus the 5 at home against the lowly Giants offense. You dig?
Dig it.
4 o'clock. Here we go. First 4 o'clock game, Seattle at Tennessee. Now, if there's going to be a time, we talked about Russell Wilson coming out. Let's come out against these Tennessee Titans. Let's show the world what the Seattle Seahawks are made of against a up-and-coming Tennessee team. Vegas kind of thinks opposite. Tennessee favored by 2.5, right? So if you put the home field advantage in, Vegas always gives the home team 3. So they're leaning. They're saying it's basically a pick 'em, where probably week 1, if these two teams played, Seattle on the road, they'd be like a 3-point favorite is what
Right.
it's like a 6-point swing. So Tennessee at home, 2.5. The total's 43, Hank.
I'm going to take Seattle because they're too good to do this. Now, I'll also take the over.
Yes.
Right.
If Seattle's going to get it done, they got to score some points. They
Right.
got to score some points.
I mean, Wilson had 198 and a touchdown. That Carson kid ran for 93.
Did.
I mean, he's stepping out in front saying, hey, I'm going to be the running back here. For 93 yards, I think they're going to give him the ball more. But, Lockett had 64, Baldwin 44, and then it kind of goes down from there. Prosise was only a receiver. He only caught 22 yards.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Eddie Lacy was a healthy scratch from the game. So no injuries, but he didn't. I don't even think he suited up, dude. He didn't even get in the game. So anyway, if you drafted Eddie Lacy, it's time to cut bait fantasy-wise, y'all. Drop this dude. It's over. Go get the Carson kid. Pick up the Prosise. One of those dudes are going to fill the role. Can see Prosise being the third down back, the Carson guy being the first and second down back, taking Lacy's spot. I like what you're saying, too. I like Seattle to win this game on the road, and let's go over the total. Anything to say about Tennessee?
I mean, Mariota did 215,
Ooh.
touchdown.
Derrick Henry.
And Derrick Henry, 92 yards and a touchdown.
Do we have trouble in Tennessee in the backfield? You've got DeMarco Murray. They said he's got a hamstring issue. He has a hamstring issue. He said he's going to be fine. But after Derrick Henry puts up about 100 yards, could Derrick Henry be getting into the mix now, taking some of DeMarco Murray's run?
Possibly could.
Yeah. I like Derrick Henry this week as a flex. Yep. As you shake your iPad. Hurry.
Come on.
Next up, we've got Kansas City at the L.A. Chargers. Kansas City, man, they look to be one of the top 5 teams in the league. Kareem Hunt looks to be a top 5 running back in the league. Chargers playing at home. They got to get a win. They're 0-2. Kansas City is a 3.5-point favorite by Vegas and a 46.5-point total.
I mean, Kansas City is just hitting on all cylinders,
Legit.
aren't they?
They're legit.
They're legit. Alex Smith, 251 with the touchdown. Hunt, 81, 2 touchdowns. Kelsey, 103 and a touchdown.
Big time.
I mean, they are playing well. And L.A., the Chargers, aren't.
Yes.
They're not. So they still have the weapons to do it. Melvin Gordon's just running the ball pretty well.
He's running actually very well. Keenan Allen, I see that he made over 100 yards for coming off his injury last year. He's back to Keenan Allen type of numbers, 9 receptions for 100 yards.
Right. So, but I still feel like Kansas City comes out and does work.
I love it too, Hank. Kansas City looks like to be the team to beat. They're going to contend in the AFC for Super Bowl contention for sure with those New England Patriots. Let's lean Kansas City minus the 3.5, and I'm going to go under the total 46.5. Kansas City's defense is pretty good. LA's offense not clicking as of yet. 4:25 kick. Next up, Cincinnati at Green Bay. This is interesting. Cincinnati looks to be like one of the worst teams in the league, right? They're doing
Awful.
nothing. They haven't scored a touchdown yet, Hank. They haven't scored a touchdown yet this year. With that offense, Andy Dalton, A.J. Green, Joe Mixon, Giovanni Bernard, Tyler Eifert, they're loaded. What is going on in Cincinnati? Maybe they figured out against Green Bay. Green Bay started as a 9-point favorite. Now it's an 8-point favorite, 44-0. total. What do you think happens?
I think Green Bay rolls in this one because I don't think that they can get it done. Unfortunately, I mean, I love the idea of the Bengals. At the beginning of the year, I was like, you got Dalton out there. He's experienced. He's going to be able to run the offense. You've got Mixon coming in who did 36 yards. He's the leading rusher at 36 yards. He caught 5 yards. A.J. Green, 67 yards. And Dalton threw for 224. That's it. No touchdowns.
Not good.
I mean, you've got to be able to score, and they can't score. And I'm not going to put my money on them until they can prove to me that they can.
On the contrary, my friend.
Oh, you said Tyler Eifert was going to be the lock of the
on the contrary
century last week with 2 touchdowns, and he didn't score jack.
You're right. I blew that one, but I won't blow it this
Didn't
week.
I say that I was going to sit here and yell at you when he didn't do that?
Well, you've done a good job. You're yelling at me right now.
It's the worst
Mission
pick
accomplished.
ever, and you've had some terrible ones, especially when I was in Vegas and you told me to pick the Bulls. And
You
it
would
was the
never
lock of the
forget that.
century.
You would never forget
We
that.
put down money on that thing.
How many years ago was that? Was that a decade ago and you still talk about that?
I don't care. I lost money on the lock of the century.
Well, Hank, I'm going to tell you another lock of the decade here, okay? This will be lock of the decade, not of the century. Let's try these Cincinnati Bengals one more time. Let's go Cincinnati Bengals plus the 8 on the road. All the naysayers that say they can't score, which I've said a million times, they're going to prove us wrong against Green Bay. I'm going over the total 44. I'm going Cincinnati plus the 8. Parlay 'em. Put the house on it, baby. Here they come.
Oh, I can't do this anymore.
Jordy Nelson is questionable too, so Jordy Nelson owners. Give me Jordy Nelson's stats last week. I think he laid an egg.
That's why he's not playing. They won't let him play anymore
Because he was so terrible
because he
last
was
week.
so terrible. I understand that. Hey, he's got a lot of power over there.
Yes, he does.
Jordy Nelson. He did not record enough to be on here. as
Oh
a
my
receiver.
gosh, so he had a real tough game. Ty Montgomery, guys, look for him in the backfield of Green Bay. That dude is fantasy gold right now, top 10.
75 yards receiving with 1 touchdown and ran for 35 with 1
That's
touchdown.
fantasy RB1 material. You got to start him. Good job, Hank. Hey, that's the way to recover with the stats real quick. I noticed you turned it off and you came right back to it quickly without sweating. Good job. Next game, 8:30 Sunday night. Your Oakland Raiders, Hank. Unbelievable, these guys.
Yep. There they go.
Whooping
There
people.
they go.
There they go again.
There they go again.
On the road at Washington. This will be a fun Sunday night game. Oakland is scoring at will. Washington, they got some injuries going on right now. R. Kelly in the backfield looks like he's out.
R. Kelly. That cracks me up every time, man. R. Kelly in the backfield.
That's it. What's that song? Come on, give me one. Ignition. Come on, what's that one? How's it go? This is the remix. So you know what I'm talking about? Okay, you feel me. You feeling me. Do you know that R. Kelly, not to change the subject or anything,
You're
but
changing the subject.
you know that supposedly he is a cult leader now, and he's got mad women following him that live in this not this big mansion up on a hill, like maybe 20 to 30.
What?
And he's a cult leader. Yeah, it's called This Is Remix to Ignition. That's the song right there. That's the
You ever heard this one? This is the one that him and what's that cat's name? Usher.
Usher.
They dating the same girl?
Oh yeah, this is a classic. This is a classic.
This is a good one.
Yeah, come to my house and be a cult member. Yeah. So anyway, y'all Google that R. Kelly. It's some pretty weird stuff. He's the leader of a cult. But anyway,
He's into some weird stuff.
Yes.
His history.
Yes,
His
he
history.
is. Good Lord, R. Kelly. My Lord. Okay, 8:30 Sunday, Oakland. Let's get back to fantasy
back
here,
to
Hank. Sorry,
Oakland. Hey, Carr, 230 with 3 touchdowns. The guy is doing him.
I went to the Crab Man. Mr. Crabtree caught 3 touchdowns last
80
week.
yards, 3 touchdowns.
Sick.
Richard had 51, and the running back had 58 yards and a touchdown too. So he had a good day.
Are you worried about Amari Cooper at all? It seems like Crabtree is getting all the touchdown love. Cooper seems a little lost in the mix right now. I mean, do you worry about him, or you just keep on starting him? It's going to come.
Well, the tough thing, and the Jets were not a great example of this, but that wide receiver 1 takes a lot of pressure off of Crabtree. So I mean that's part of it. And when you have a defense like the Jets, they probably put 2 on Cooper, shut him down, which is not good for the Cooper owners.
Right.
But
Real good for the Crabtree owners.
really good for the Crabtree owners.
Yeah. On the other side, Washington, Kirk Cousins been a huge disappointment appointment so far. Give me some numbers from him last week, Hank.
Hold on. Let me get to it.
Loading.
I've got processing going on here.
Loading.
He had 179 yards with the touchdown.
God, it sucks. Cousins was supposed to be top 10 quarterback this year.
R. Kelly ran for 78.
Yeah, this is Remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. So in R. Kelly's, he's out.
Yep.
Now, there's 2 running backs back there. You got
Thompson
and P. Ryan, right? P. Ryan. Thompson's more of the third down back, even though he rushed. I think he scored 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, 77 yards.
Yeah, he had a great week. P. Ryan on waiver wires. I picked him up today.
In our league?
In our league. I picked him up today because I think he's going to fill the role for R. Kelly. This is Remix to
All right.
for the first and second down role. And then Thompson will come in the third down. So I picked him up. We'll see how that goes. Does Washington have any chance to stay close to this Oakland Raiders offense?
No.
Me agree.
I think Oakland is like proven that they're a top tier team right now.
Agree.
That they're going in, and they're going in against tough people and playing well. So I'm taking them.
Oakland all day minus the 3. Hank, we've only disagreed on one so far. Let's see if we can do well on this last one together. It's the Monday night classic in Arizona. Dallas going to Arizona. Dallas right now as a 3-point favorite, total 47. There's been some stuff going on in the Dallas locker room regarding Ezekiel Elliott. Now, I think he's going to make it through the year, Hank. I think the suspension stuff, which has been looming, it's kind of dying down a little bit. I think if there's any suspension, it will come next year.
Right.
But that's not a guarantee. That's just kind of how I feel. So Zeke should have that kind of monkey off his back right now and be able to concentrate on running the ball for Dallas because he sure did not do it last week.
No, he had 8 yards.
He had 8 yards. That's probably in his life, even when he was playing peewee ball and junior high ball. He's never only rushed for 8 yards. So this hurt him.
And he had the most carries, too. He had 9 carries. I mean, it isn't like he had 20, but he had 9 carries for 8 yards. And he's the kind of guy that gets 4 yards a carry.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you noticed at the end, but it was fourth quarter, Dak threw an interception, and Zeke basically had no effort making a tackle on the guy that intercepted it.
Right.
And so a lot of people in Dallas were upset about it. And Zeke was like, hey, sorry. I don't know what Zeke said, actually. I just know that there was an issue with him not giving enough effort. Will this come to haunt him, as they move forward here this season?
Well, the guys on the field know what's going on more than
True.
The
media
what
and the
media
fans.
and everything else is. And you can forgive a teammate for taking one play off. Like if he was like, guys, I apologize, I'm sorry.
Right.
It was magnified because of the media.
Right.
But they know. They see him in practice. They see him on the field. They're going to know what's going on. And if he's that kind of player, then absolutely it's going to haunt him.
Yeah.
But if it was one play, I mean,
that.
you can sympathize with the guy. The guy's been in the middle of a nightmare for a couple of months.
Absolutely. I like what you say there. I completely agree. Arizona, on the other hand, they're coming off a come-from-behind win against the Indianapolis Colts. I'm telling you, Hank, I said it from the beginning, this team stinks. With no David Johnson, I guess you rely now. Chris Johnson's been a waiver wire wonder. A lot
44
of people,
yards.
44 yards. People are picking him up.
J.J. Nelson.
JJ, okay. That's what we're talking about now.
120 yards, touchdown.
Boom, bingo. So Fitzgerald kind of falling down as he ages gracefully, and J.J. Nelson rising up. He's waiver wire wonder as well. I put him in a top 3 waiver wire pickup this week because if Arizona's going to win and the total is 47 by Vegas, they think it's going to be a shootout. J.J. Nelson will get his. Who wins the ball game, Hank?
Gosh.
Dallas minus 3.
Arizona will not win this game. I think Dak got beat up last game. Did you see him about break his leg when they rolled over him?
How did he not? How was he not more injured than he was? Yeah,
I agree. So I think that Dallas is going to come out and play much better. I think Zeke's going to come out and play much better. I think he's going to come out and play. So I'm definitely taking Dallas in this game.
I love Dallas minus 3-2, and I'm going to lean over the total 47.5. Good job, Hank. That was awesome. We just got through all that NFL fantasy football. Let's take a quick moment to thank one of our sponsors. Hank, I'm going to give you the conch. You go for it, baby.
Well, one of our sponsors that we talked about last week was the Sock Factory, which these guys are doing amazing things with socks right now. And you talk about it, everybody's like, how can you do amazing things? They really are. I mean, the technology is getting better with recovery and stuff like that, and they've done a bunch of lines. But the cool thing is it's been in North Carolina since 1975, right? So We've seen them here. They've been here. They've grown. But they've even grown their lines, like their 3 lines. I know that Fit Sock is a It's more of a running sock. It's one that I run in. I love them. Crazy Compression, which is the recovery sock. This brand has taken off, and they just do it on Facebook. I mean, they're not even like pushing it, and it's selling. And if you haven't seen it, it's a great product. And then the last one's William Tucker. It's a dress sock that's a little bit more cutting edge for a younger group. Although they're nice for everybody,
Yeah,
but
beautiful.
they're really cool. They're really cool. So we appreciate the Sock Factory for sponsoring us.
Hank, how do we buy these socks? Where do we go to get these fine pieces of footwear?
Well, you can either go to the factory or you can go to thesockfactory.com. So they've got all their selections on there. You can go through a really easy process. So you go to sockfactory.com and pick up any one of these lines: Crazy Compression, William Tucker, or Fit Sock.
And another really interesting tidbit of info, I work for a printing company, and some of our packaging are on several of those socks.
Oh, wow.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sock Factory, for the business. You guys go check them out, www.thesockfactory.com. Okay, Hank, before we get out of here today, there are some big college football games. Let's just highlight 3. We're going to start in Raleigh, we're going to start in Florida State,
Why would we
Tallahassee.
even go to
We're going
Raleigh?
to start in Tallahassee. Florida State at home. They haven't played in a month, Hank, because of the hurricane. With a new quarterback. They haven't played since opening week. They've got a new quarterback. The North Carolina State Wolfpack come marching down to Tallahassee. Florida State, 13-point favorite, total 52. Do the Wolfpack get it done? Look at me in my eyes and tell me. Look at me in my eyes.
I got to tell you, Chad, if I were Florida State, I'd want no other person coming down there but NC State from the
Terrible.
ACC. Okay,
State
So,
always gives them a game, I'm telling you.
I understand that, but listen to me, okay? If you don't have to leave your state to recruit, you don't have to leave. You don't have to leave a specific area in your state to recruit.
Right.
You've got an advantage over people. The guy Francois,
Francois,
right?
that's it.
He
Oui,
was
oui.
one heck of an athlete.
Yes.
The guy coming in behind him is probably not very far behind.
Probably close.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is a top tier national team that Florida State is. I think you guys get curb stomped. I don't like your chances going down there.
Have you-
on the road? On the road. So if you were at home, I would feel much better about it.
Okay.
Not down there, brother.
I like your honesty. Thank you. I'm going to have to disagree with you. Hank.
Of course
I'm
you
going to
will.
have to disagree with you. State always plays this Florida State team very close. Very close. Back in the 90s, we actually upset them several times. The Torrey Holt-led Wolfpack upset Florida State when they were undefeated. They were like the king ding-a-ling. We would get them.
Are you bringing 90 statistics in here?
I'm grasping. I'm
ridiculous.
grasping for straws, but I think the Wolfpack, I'm not going to call the outright victory, but they keep this number within the 13. Let's look for more like a 35-20, 35-31 type of game. Maybe the Wolfpack pull it out, maybe not, but they cover this line. I'll tell you a game that everybody down here is very interested in.
Did they wear leather helmets during this game? Because that's all you want to talk about, apparently.
They may have. So 3:30 kick. Interesting. Appalachian State hosting an ACC, not a powerhouse, but a strong Wake Forest team this year. They're saying there'll be more people in Boone for this game than in recorded history in the town of Boone. More people will be there this weekend. Can Appalachian State shock the ACC and upset the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, who are a 5-point favorite?
I think they can.
You want them to.
I
don't
do
you?
want them to.
You want them to.
You know, being from a small school, I like that.
Sure.
Appalachian, you're gonna, you have to like really take them into consideration when you're just not gonna walk in and beat them anymore, like everybody we talked
Right.
about before.
Yes.
So you have to game plan for them, and I don't know if I think they're a good enough team to put up a fight.
I do too.
And I think the reason why more people are going to be in Boone than ever recorded is because Wake Forest fans know that too. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we got to be there to cheer our boys on because we'll walk out of there with our ass whooped.
You know what's pretty interesting? I heard a fun fact this Monday that tickets, because it's sold out. It's sold out in less than 24 hours, right? And, most of the time you go to App Game, you can get a ticket.
Yeah.
You ain't getting a ticket for this. But if you had tickets and you wanted to sell them, they're going for like $250 to $500 for an App weight game.
I'd rather see Bruno Mars.
No doubt about it. But anyway, it's just crazy to think about how that program, where it's started, where it is right now, apps really on the up and up. All right, one last one, Hank, and we'll get out of here for today. So we've got an SEC clash. Mississippi State last week shocked the world and beat LSU, who was ranked top 7. Now they travel to Georgia, who face the Georgia Bulldogs, also undefeated. Vegas got the number Georgia -5 between the hedges against the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
If it was in Mississippi, I would say that they would win. But I think Georgia won't let that happen.
Yeah, I like it too. Let's take Georgia at home -5. All right, Hank Job, well done, my friend. We got through another fantasy formula. Oh, shoot. I meant to tell you, I had a couple texts come through while we were on the show, and they're asking your opinion on something. Can I give you a fantasy question before we leave?
Sure.
Okay. This is Mike from Massachusetts. 0-2 and 1-1. Both my teams are awful. First question, will Andrew Luck ever return, or should I cut him now? Well, we kind of addressed that.
Yep.
You feel it? What was your feel?
I'd say if he comes back, he won't play.
So maybe cut him now. Just get rid of him.
If you can find somebody serviceable and you need that spot,
Yes.
but if you're in a league where you can hold 40 on the bench,
Right.
then just hold him.
Absolutely. Good call. Next, Greg Olsen out with a foot. Is there a tight end to put in his place to replace Olsen's 100-yard per game receiving yards?
Well, we kind of talked about it. Anybody, it's kind of been a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. The guys that were going to be great tight ends, that some of them have shown up. The Kelseys have shown up. And,
Gronk showed up last week.
Gronk showed up last week, but the Eiferts and Greg Olsen wasn't having a great year.
He wasn't.
So, maybe you take your chance on the guy coming in behind
Ed
Olsen.
Dixon. Let's do that. Let's take our chance on him. He's athletic as heck.
Cam is not going to let this ship sink, I don't think.
Right.
And so he may be one. He's definitely out there.
Yeah.
And he may be one that you want to pick up.
Yep. Also, if Martellus Bennett, he's the Green Bay tight end, is out there on waiver wire, probably not. But anyway, Rodgers has targeted that dude 15 times so far this year. He's also had 7 drops. But anyway, Rodgers is targeting him, so that's somebody to look for if you need to tie in. All right, Hank, before we get out of here, there's a lot of fun stuff happening in Hickory this weekend. The Foot Candle Film Festival.
Finally here.
It's here. It starts Thursday. Tickets available. I'm not sure where that Foot Candle stuff is, but you could probably check out footcandle.com or check out themesh.tv. I'm sure there's some info regarding the film festival here this weekend. It's a lovely weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Short films, feature films, all kinds of fun stuff. Get your popcorn ready. I know my wife is going Friday to the film festival.
Fantastic.
I'll be kicking it with the kids. And also, did you play in the tennis match Monday?
I did.
I haven't heard any results. What happened?
So we played, there's 3 matches.
Okay.
And so it was, I ended up playing with one of the better players. So, the way that this is situated is a good player and a bad player, we'll say, somebody that's not playing as much. And so Todd Blair and Chris Lovern played together.
Yes.
They won their match 6-4, 6-1.
Wow, great.
CJ Hines and LT Thompson had to play together.
Whoa.
That's bad on bad. And at one point when they switched sets, CJ looked at LT and said, "You suck." So they lost 1-1.
Yes.
Okay. And then ours was the latest match, took it to the
This
end.
is for all the money,
And
right?
it was Dustin Deal and myself.
Sure.
We lost the first set 6-4, lost the next set 7-5.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty tough.
Yeah.
A pretty tough beat, but it was fun.
And that's our opening match, right? We've
Right.
got many more matches to play, and so we're just getting our feet wet.
You get yours Monday.
I play Monday?
Yeah, you're
okay.
you're on the ticket.
Okay.
You're going.
You know who I'm playing with?
I will find that out. But
Yes.
you're traveling.
Oh, I'm traveling.
You're going to Boone.
Holy cow.
Get your head right.
Gotta get my head right.
You can't
Yeah.
mess around too much. You
Was
gotta
that
get your
team
head
pretty
right.
strong? I mean, are they comparable to our team?
I think you're going to do well. I think that when you get in there, you got nerves. You've got a little bit going on, and I think you're going to do just fine.
Well, thank you, Hank. I am a primetime player.
You are a
when
primetime
it's
player.
time to shine, I will shine. So anyway, I'll look forward to that. I'll look forward to the Foot Candle this weekend, and I will look forward to talking to you next week. Fantasy Formula, thanks for listening. See you next week. Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.